Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Panel by Panel podcast here on Parallel Panels. If you're new around here, the basic idea is that every episode I take a well-known comic book storyline and do my best to explain it to my friend Aaron, who doesn't know anything about it going in. This episode's a big one for me personally because I love Batman The Long Halloween. Aaron, if you've already listened to this podcast or you're about to learn, is not the biggest Batman fan. So this was a big one for me personally to try and win him over with a bit more of a detective story that I hoped would do it. I suppose you'll find out whether it worked or not. This is the second of our Halloween-themed episodes for the month of October. You can check out Marvel Zombies, which will be already up wherever you are listening to this very episode. Also, please be sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok, as well as YouTube and Spotify. All that good stuff that you know already. But without further ado, this is the Panel by Panel podcast episode on Batman The Long Halloween by Jeph Loeb and the late Tim Sale. Batman The Long Halloween. Which, obviously, I was like, we're going to do that on for the Halloween episode. Not really a Halloween-themed book. Which is what threw you off when you said about Scarecrow.
There's nothing to do with Halloween.
It just
Takes place on Halloween?
not really. It takes place over a year, but it goes Halloween to Halloween. So they call it the Long Halloween.
That is a long Halloween.
Because it's like a period of like
Trick and treat.
struggle for a group of people, and so they call it the Long Halloween because they're like, this year doesn't end. It feels like we're still on that first Halloween, you know?
Fair enough.
I should have opened the can first. Well, I guess
You
it's
can
just
cut
some
it out.
cool ASMR.
Oh, hell yeah. Bubbly.
I'm sure that's what everyone who likes ASMR is really into. Like, not that bit. The satisfying bit is the...
That's a funny name this guy's got, by the way. Loeb.
Jeph Loeb.
Jeff. I've never seen Jeff spelled like that.
You know what? I've only just thought about this, but yeah, me neither. That's the only person I can think of who spells Jeff, J-E-P-H.
Jeff. That's messed up, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. I never really thought about it.
Jeph Loeb. I do know the name Tim Sale, though.
Yeah, so we did we do a Tim Sale book before? I can't remember. But I think when we record... I know what it was. When we recorded the first episode, which was Killing Joke, it had a quote from Tim Sale on it, and he passed away like 2 days before we recorded the episode.
Oh, yeah.
So we brought it up then. His art is like sick as well, but especially in this. But yeah. So yeah, it's called The Long Halloween. Not really a Halloween themed book, but you know. This book is super important on Batman movies and anything that's remotely like Batman detective-y. Like it there's not a lot of action in this book. It's a crime story that goes on over a year.
Which Batman is this? Is this Bruce Wayne or is it Dick Grayson?
Oh, it's Bruce Wayne.
Right, okay.
So this is why I said about how we won't get bother doing the chatting at the start, right? Because I mean the quote on the top is from Christopher Nolan. He basically used this book to make The Dark Knight, but he just changed certain things. It has a lot to do with the newest Batman movie as well, the Robert Pattinson one. There's so many things that, like, when we get to them, you'll be like, oh, that's in that movie, that's in that movie. Like, this book is probably the one that the movies take from the most, which is why I was like, we won't bother doing the chat and stuff at the part, because we should probably just clarify, like, right out the gate that you don't really like The Dark Knight.
No.
Because for most people, it's like, oh, you like The Dark Knight? Go read The Long Halloween. You'll love that too.
Dark Knight's the one with Ra's al Ghul, right?
No, that's Batman Begins. Dark Knight is Heath Ledger, Joker.
Oh, that's not too bad. I just didn't like I don't like that trilogy. Because Batman Begins sucks. That's really bad. And Liam Neeson, that was the Liam Neeson film for me where I was like, I think he's done. I genuinely just think
Is that
he's
why
done.
you don't like him? Because you're like, it's ruined Liam Neeson.
And then after that, Liam Neeson did Taken... It was Taken 2 after that, wasn't it?
I don't
trying
know.
to think how long ago Batman Begins was.
Yeah, I don't actually know.
I think he did Taken, and then Taken 2, and then... Why did they make it Taken 3?
Yeah, I don't know.
And The Grey isn't a good film.
No, it really sucks.
Liam Neeson fell off after Batman Begun. Liam Neeson fell off.
They really sacrificed Liam Neeson just to give us Batman. I'm just quickly flicking through his IMDb. I think Taken might have come after Batman
I think
Begins.
it did, didn't it? Because Batman Begins, what, 05?
2008, yeah, 05 Batman Begins. So 3 years after. However, he really didn't do a lot in those 3 years. He did Batman Begins and Chronicles of Narnia.
Who's he in Narnia? Is he Aslan?
Yeah, and a movie called Seraphim Falls, which I've never heard of, which is him and Pierce Brosnan. And then, yeah.
What's he done recently?
Liam Neeson. Let's have a look. He was in... spoilers for the Kenobi show, but he was in that.
Oh.
He apparently appears in Atlanta as Liam Neeson.
That doesn't surprise me.
And then Men in Black International is the next thing.
Oh, that film sucked as well.
That I notice. Yeah.
I'm glad he's done a lot of sucky stuff. Maybe I'm not wrong. He did fall off.
So, this book is kind of an unofficial sequel to Batman Year One by Frank Miller, which we will do, but this made sense to do this on Halloween.
I've heard of Year One, yeah. But
Batman Year One is kind of like Batman Begins. It's like Bruce coming back to Gotham and like his first year as Batman, right? So like this is kind of like somewhere in between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, but also has quite a lot in common with the new Batman movie, where he's been Batman for like a year or so. So like he's not like an idiot. He's not tripping over
but he's not like
the
a
cape and
professional.
stuff. And he's like dealing with new things for the first time. Like, you know how in the new Batman movie and how in Batman Begins, it's like this is the first time he's dealing with like supervillains kind of thing. Like before that, he's just dealing with like crime bosses and stuff.
Yeah, he's just
that
doing like
happens in this.
mafia or just like people like that.
Yeah.
Whereas in
Batman Year One, the Frank Miller one, you only meet Catwoman and that's it. You don't meet any other villains. It's all about Batman versus the mob and that's it. So like this introduces a lot of villains to Batman kind of thing.
Oh, fair enough.
Because a big part of this book is the transition that happens in The Dark Knight between the mob running Gotham and supervillains kind of taking it from them because of the mob all starting to get locked up and stuff like that. So then supervillains start to come around and then they start to... And like how the Mafia don't really like the Joker in The Dark Knight and then we're like, we're going to have to work with him because we've got nothing and he's doing a lot. So they like don't want to work with him because they're like he's a freak.
But he's got bigger plans than we do, so... And
he's a lot better at dealing with Batman than we are because we only know how to deal with cops, and that's by paying them off, and we can't pay Batman off. So what are we going to do, sort of thing. So that's like a big theme of the book, which again is like the movies just in general. Like I said, it's like a murder mystery in the way that... You know how, like, any sort of murder mystery, be it a movie, like Seven, or an episode of, like...
Poirot.
I was going to say Monk, your personal favourite.
Oh, Monk.
I could tell you the plot of this book in, like, 2 or 3 sentences, right? Just like Seven, just like a TV show episode where it's a murder mystery. I could be like, these people are getting murdered. These are the people trying to work it out. This is who it is in the end. Or like a Scooby-Doo episode, right? I could spoil that for you in like a sentence. And you don't need to watch the episode. But the whole point of the book is like, you only find out.
Is it one of the people we first meet?
Because
that would be Scooby-Doo-esque.
That is like pretty much every murder mystery, right? Apart from like Seven. A lot of them, you meet the person really early on, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I never thought about it.
Like, yeah. It's kind of similar, like I said, with all the villains. There's quite a lot of villains in this book. A lot of them aren't very important, but they're there anyway, which is quite similar to Hush, which is also by Jeph Loeb. We'll do that as well. This is better than that. This is like when we did Killing Joke, and I said if you asked any Batman comic book fan like top 5 stories, this would be in there, like without a shadow of a doubt, just like Killing Joke would be, like right at the top. Okay. So, I mean, that's why they based like all the movies off of The Long Halloween. So again, you'll probably know this without like knowing it because of the movies and stuff. But the Falcone crime family are like the dominant family in Gotham, right? Like they run everything, and then you've got Salvatore Maroni's family, who are like the opposing force in Gotham, right?
Yeah.
Jeph Loeb really likes The Godfather, so how I said that The Dark Knight is like this book in movie form, this book is like The Godfather in comic book superhero form. Like, there's a lot of Godfather stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's probably where the Batman took it from as well.
Yeah.
Because they really dived down that. I'd say it's comedic Italian. Hey, it's me, Falcone. And you're like, oh, okay, alright. What's he? Oh, he's playing snooker, is he?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm playing snooker. Hey. Like, come on. You're diving down a bit too much. But, yeah. Some proper mafia stuff.
Yeah, so you spend a lot of time with the Falcone family. You meet some new characters, because a lot of them were just kind of like... You only really met the main kind of characters in Batman Year One, and then this introduces a load of people, because it's a big murder mystery. You got to like have loads of characters, obviously, to like get killed, but also to
have
suspect.
Yeah.
So like you meet Falcone's son, Alberto, who is literally a Godfather like rip-off. He's literally like, he's really weak, or like his father sees him as weak, and he doesn't want him involved in the family business at all, because he's like, I don't want you to have this life kind of thing. But all that his son wants is to be involved like the whole time, but he just doesn't let him, which is like Godfather, which is like Kick-Ass ripped that off as well. Like, it's just
it's just like it's a dad trope, isn't it, that people go down.
Yeah. So you know how I said I could like tell you the plot like super fast if I wanted to? The basic idea is that people within the crime families of Gotham start getting murdered, and they get murdered on every holiday. And they always get killed by the same gun, which is a really distinctive gun, with a silencer on it, which is a baby bottle lid. Like, you know, like the tip.
Oh.
Which I don't think would silence a gun, but whatever.
Weirder stuff works.
I guess so. And the person who's killing them always leaves something behind to symbolise that holiday that they've killed them on.
I guess this wouldn't work in many countries, but luckily Americans have a holiday for everything.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
How many kills is that?
I can't remember whether they kill someone on the Halloween when it's already been going on a year.
Jewish holidays as well. Do they cheat and do Hanukkah and
Christmas? They only kill someone once every month. They pick one for the month.
Every month.
Yeah.
Cheeky.
Another big part of this book is Harvey Dent, who isn't really a big character in Batman to this point.
Is he Two-Face yet?
He's Harvey Dent. That's it.
He's just
like at the start of The Dark Knight. He's exactly the same as he is in The Dark Knight, where he's like...
Bit of a dick.
There's him, you've got like the three parallels of him, Gordon and Batman, and he's like the super optimistic one who's like, we can take down the mob, and the other two are like, this ain't gonna happen, it's not gonna be as easy as that, and he's like, no, we can do it. And they're like, you're gonna die doing this, and he's like, we gotta do it. Like, yeah, super confident, bit cocky.
No brain behind it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, yeah, we might as well.
Yeah, like, there's a bit more... Well, this is like kind of the first time he's an actual character. Before that, he's just like the district attorney, and he's like, whatever. But in this, he's like the Harvey Dent that everyone knows and stuff like that. He has a wife called Gilda, who they're trying to start a family together. They're really good friends with the Gordons. So like they spend a lot of time together, mostly at like the two wives, whilst Harvey and Jim are doing stuff. And then just like in like a standard murder mystery TV episode and stuff like that, you only get certain clues. Like you don't ever see the killer's like face. You'll just see like their gun shooting someone, or you can see that they wear like a big coat, and like that's all you see. So like you don't get to, and it's all in like, usually when they've killed someone, it goes all black and white and stuff like that. So it just like is meant to look like a classic murder mystery.
Similar to like the show Catchphrase. You know, if you get it right, you get one of the squares removed, and you go, "Hold on a minute." And once it's all gone, you go, "Oh, I know who it is." That's
I guess
the
so.
open.
I never really thought of that, but yeah.
Great show.
Yeah, I suppose so. So, the big mob war is kind of like already going on, but then the holiday killings, because whoever's doing it targets people in both crime families, and so they obviously think it's each other trying to kill each other. So then it just escalates the crime war even more. Like every single time someone gets killed, there's a part in Batman Year One where Catwoman hates Carmine Falcone, like in the Batman, constantly trying to get at him. Later revealed, spoilers I guess, if you haven't seen the Batman, that in the sequel to this, it's revealed that she's Falcone's illegitimate daughter, and that's why she's like constantly trying to get at him and stuff like that. But she steals a bunch of stuff from him. Falcone thinks it's the Batman, so he hates the Batman, and that's kind of like where this picks up. And then like the killings start like pretty straight away. I think the book opens with Batman and Catwoman. Yeah. So it starts with it has chapters, right? So every chapter will be I think every chapter is pretty much a different holiday. And they always have these like individual covers and stuff. There's some stuff which isn't too related to the main story. That's Selina Kyle, by the way. I've always thought that she looks really weird. That's like one of the only things I don't really like about the book. I always thought that she looked odd, but you know.
Yeah, don't be harsh. She looks a bit like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was alluding to.
Michael Jackson in a dress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. I don't know. Not saying I'm for it, but I'm just not a fan.
Yeah.
So what's her? What? Who is she? What does she do?
She's the Selina Kyle that you know. Really, she's like in this because they've already met in Year One. She's like, I guess I was gonna say flirting with Bruce Wayne, but not really. They're like fairly close. But then also flirting with Batman at the same time when she's Catwoman. Stealing from people. You don't know whether Batman trusts her or not, or whatever. Pretty much the standard Batman and Catwoman dynamic that kind of started in Year One and here. Like I said, there's this Batman and Catwoman stuff which doesn't really go anywhere, but it sets up their relationship and stuff like that. So yeah, the first victim, which is on Halloween, is Falcone's nephew, who you meet right at the start. I think, yeah. So this is like the black and white stuff where it's showing you the killer and stuff like that getting ready. And then the person dies because of the pressure that Harvey Dent is putting on the mob at the time. Someone sends a package to him and tries to blow it up when him and his wife get home. And that's kind of the end of chapter 1. The chapters are pretty short. Like, when we get towards, like, the end of the book, there's quite a lot of chapters, but they are literally, like, I can sum them up in, like, 1 sentence, 2 sentences, because, again, it's like a murder mystery. It just, like, keeps on going. So, like, the closer you get, the more fast-paced all of the clues and stuff come at you. So, they all find the... Do you know who that is just from looking at the image of the Thanksgiving cover? He comes up in a minute anyway, but...
I don't know, but it's just... Sorry, I can't stop looking at skeletons. They're just funny. I don't know. Why... Is it... It's not Penguin, is it?
No.
Because he's small.
Yeah.
It's just a big boy.
That dude's pretty big, yeah.
It's not big.
Anyway, it literally comes up in like 2 sentences, right? So they find the guy who they think made the bomb... and they tell him that Harvey's dead and stuff. Harvey's not dead. I'm surprised, but they try and trick him. Batman is just showing Batman chase the guy. The guy falls into the sewer where he meets Solomon Grundy.
Yes, yeah.
Who again is just one of those like Jeph Loeb things where he just likes to drop characters in and stuff like that. It gets revealed that the bomb obviously didn't kill Harvey Dent, and they know that the guy that Batman caught didn't actually do it. They know that it was Carmine Falcone paying the guy to try and kill them, but they can't prove it, obviously. Harvey's wife gets kind of injured by the explosion, so he's with her in hospital. They let all of the guys go that they captured, and they start to call the serial killer the Holiday Killer because they're noticing the pattern. So the Holiday Killer shoots them all dead on Thanksgiving whilst they're all eating when they've escaped. Well, not escaped,
Thanksgiving
but
dinner,
they've just got out. So chapter 3 is Christmas time with the Joker. This is like one of the only chapters he's in. He's really not a big part of it, but Batman and Jim Gordon go to Arkham Asylum to speak to Calendar Man. Do you know who Calendar Man is?
I've heard of he's mentioned in the Arkham games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What does he do?
He's just like a serial killer who's obsessed with dates and stuff like that.
So he kills he tries to kill for every date or something.
He's just obsessed with certain dates and stuff like that. I think his plan is usually he kills people on some sort of pattern related to dates or on specific days, and then they always work out it's him by being like, oh, well, this matches up to a pattern of whatever, you know? That's his whole thing.
Well, see, he mentioned Hanukkah as well. So.
Calendar Man just chats nonsense, so he's no use. They leave. Joker shows up at Salvatore Maroni's place, thinking that Maroni is the Holiday Killer because so far all he's done is kill Falcone's guys. He just wants to know who Holiday is, and Maroni ends up telling the Joker. He tells Batman, because Batman then goes to him as well, about this guy called the Joker who came and threatened him and stuff. Harvey Dent and Gilda come home to their house to find Joker sat there like the Grinch by their Christmas tree. You get a pretty good glimpse of Joker there. Do you like the Joker design? I feel like it's pretty... Because it's so out there, it's a bit love it or hate it. I really like it. But...
They make him spikier.
Yeah.
Just to say the least. Like, I guess the whole thing with him is, especially in like the Killing Joke, they try and make him basically just like literally as average as possible, but he obviously has the features.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it just makes him try and look a bit like Nightmare Before Christmas, Jack Skellington vibes.
Yeah. I wonder if that's like a big inspiration.
Like he's lanky, he's thin.
Yeah.
And he just has a really sharp face.
Yeah.
But I rate it.
Yeah, it's cool. Joker is still trying to find out who the Holiday Killer is, so he asks if Harvey Dent is it. And then finally, he goes to Falcone, who gets and Joker ends up like asking if it's him. When he escapes, Falcone's personal bodyguard chases after the Joker, and as Joker escapes, is shot and killed, and the killer leaves a little snow globe behind. And then we get the next holiday, which is New Year's Eve. There you go, a little toast from Joker.
Oh, you got the Joker in another one, though.
Yeah, so Joker's plan in this part is really irrelevant. It's kind of just like to show you that how long this is going on, to show you that there are other things happening. Joker's got like a classic Joker plan. He's in a biplane and he's going to drop like laughing gas on all the people who are gathered for New Year's Eve in Gotham Square or whatever. So Batman's trying to stop them. Meanwhile, Carmine Falcone and Salvatore Maroni are at this New Year's Eve party together on a yacht, and Maroni tries to say like, hey, look, if we don't find out who this guy is, we're going to both be dead. And Falcone is like, yeah, you'll be dead. Got him. Like, they don't want to work together. Like, there's just no way it's going to happen, sort of thing. Falcone's sister goes out for a smoke and to look for Carmine's son Alberto. Whilst they're there, Alberto gets shot, falls into the water, gets shot by the Holiday Killer, obviously, because you get the whole black and white thing. Harvey Dent comes home for New Year's, and the Gordons are there at his house waiting for him, and he's like, I don't really want to talk with you guys right now. And whilst the wives talk about how Harvey is being like really busy and distant from them, despite the fact that they're trying to have a family and stuff like that, Harvey has some new information that links Carmine Falcone with Bruce Wayne, which he wants to tell Jim Gordon about, because they might be suspecting Bruce Wayne as the holiday killer. That whole thing that he finds out is the same as in the Batman movie, where Bruce Wayne's dad, Thomas Wayne, who was a surgeon, saved Carmine Falcone when he was a kid. Like, his dad brought him in and was like, you need to help my son, and he was like, I'll do it, but not because I want anything from you or I want to be associated with the mob, just because I'm a nice dude, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so like this eventually builds up, and they take Bruce Wayne into court and stuff like that, but it doesn't go anywhere. Batman ends up stopping Joker's plan, obviously, and Alberto's body washes up on the shore. Chapter 5 is Valentine's Day. Harvey and Jim go to Wayne Manor, but Bruce is off as Batman.
What I do like is Valentine's Day does start with Alfred. Gotta love the man.
Everyone's true love. Bruce Wayne's not there because he's too busy jumping out on Falcone whilst he mourns his dead son. Catwoman intervenes just because she loves being really annoying to Carmine Falcone. And then later on in Valentine's Day, Selina and Bruce are at, I think they're at Wayne Manor having a little dance, and this pale person in a big green robe walks past them and gives Bruce Wayne a rose that cuts him straight away. Harvey Dent has this assistant looking dude. He's the dude with the really big glasses.
Are you meant to know who this woman is?
It comes up.
I mean, it's obvious. Don't get me wrong, but okay, we'll get to that.
That little dude with the big glasses who looks like Gus from Recess. He's like Harvey's assistant, and he's getting basically paid off at the party. A car full of guys who are protecting Maroni's restaurant. They all get shot up, including some of the people in the restaurant, and the killer leaves a box of chocolates behind. When Bruce returns home from wherever he was, he ignores Alfred telling him about Jim Gordon coming to the manor and stuff, and walks right past him to Poison Ivy, who is just, she's hanging out with some plants at the back or whatever she's doing. She's in a hedge, that's what she does. Is she boning Bruce Wayne there? Don't know.
It kind of looks like it.
I guess. I mean, in a bit, they're just like having dinner together, but
hungry afterwards, I guess.
Chapter 6, St. Patrick's Day. Aaron, what's your favourite thing about St. Patrick's Day?
Oh, you luck the Irish. That's the thing. you gotta love them.
I'm going to ask you this for every chapter. Not about St. Patrick's Day.
Also, the Americans love it more than the Irish.
That's the thing they really adopted that holiday.
They're like, yeah, we do it for Ireland. The Irish are just like, I mean, we drink.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Americans go all out.
Yeah, like, is it in Chicago where they dye the river green?
I think so.
Yeah, it's like,
I think they had to stop doing that.
Yeah,
it was killing the...
Yeah. Not good for the fish.
No, St. Patrick's Day is not very good for fish. There you go.
Yeah, that's the least favourite thing about St. Patrick's Day. So, Falcone has a daughter called Sophia who gets freed from wherever she is. I don't think she's in Arkham. She's just in jail.
Penitentiary, it seems.
She's called Sophia. She's just a massive unit. Like, she's bigger than Carmine.
Holy smokes, she's got a massive head, no?
Yeah. Selina sees Bruce Wayne out and about and calls to him, and he just ignores her and walks past, and she kind of catches a little glimpse of what she thinks is Poison Ivy. And Catwoman ends up breaking up a nice romantic meal between Bruce Wayne and Poison Ivy, and is able to free Bruce Wayne from the Poison Ivy trance, which again is like the whole Jeph Loeb thing of just chucking in a villain. Like, Poison Ivy she appears later on, but she doesn't have any relevance to the story, but it's kind of like, it's just to show you that there are a lot of other things going on whilst the holiday killings are, like, they're dealing with this for a little bit at the same time, right?
I'm not sure how I feel about this Catwoman design, by the way.
The Catwoman design
strange.
is quite weird. I don't...
She's really muscular.
I'm not a fan of the purple.
Yeah, and like the pinky purple design. It's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she then splits Bruce Wayne in half, and it turns out he's flowers.
Yeah, I don't know about that bit, but at the end he's fine. So
I mean, art-wise, it looks sick.
yeah,
but
it's a cool image, but I don't know
he's
what that's supposed to mean.
Now
but...
he's just passed out on her. So
Yeah.
It could be worse.
So Sophia Falcone is planning on showing up at Maroni's, and when they get there's already a bunch of people dead, with the gun, the silencer, and a little leprechaun left behind on the doorstep. In Falcone's office, he is talking about how all of the family were against this idea of his, it's against their code and stuff, and then there he is slipping money to somebody who is clearly Poison Ivy. So he's finally got to the point where he's like, we got to work with these people. Chapter 7, April Fool's Day. What's your favourite thing about April Fool's Day?
Well, my favourite thing about the Riddler is the Riddle Me Piss Batman meme. That's the best thing. April Fool's Day, people ruin it, you know? Because they made the whole thing as, you can only do it up to 12.
Yeah, no other holiday works like that.
It's like, no, Christmas up until 12 and then you go to work. No, don't be so silly. Like, April Fool's Day, I find it funny because you can play a little prank. Everyone's like, ah. Whereas normal days, if you play a little prank, everyone's just going to get angry.
I get caught by, like, a piece of news that comes out on April Fool's Day, like, every year.
At least one thing. You look at all the others and you go, nah. So
everyone does it. You put it in the group chat and then you go, wait a minute.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Vin Diesel's gonna be Batman. Wow. That's actually really... Loads of people are doing it, and then they all come out and go, we got you. And you go, you know, fucking...
Bloody Vin Diesel.
Can't blame Vin Diesel for April Fool's Day.
I guess not. Maroni... Is it Maroni or Falcone? I think I've typed Maroni, but I think it's Carmine Falcone.
Well, Riddler's just talking to Batman at the moment.
Yeah, he shows up in a sec, I think. Whatever. We'll find out. Somebody hires the Riddler to find out who it is, who the holiday killer is. But it's the Riddler, so he just keeps coming up with more and more theories and riddles. Batman's also trying to work it out at the same time as the Riddler, but he keeps coming to dead ends. Until he thinks about Harvey Dent, who was late home on New Year's that night when Alberto was shot at the yacht. And when he came back, his wife was like, you have wet hair. Why do you have wet hair? And he was like, it's snowing, whatever. He could have followed the Joker when the Joker was at his house to Maroni's and then shot, to Falcone, and shot the bodyguard that time. He left Wayne Manor on Valentine's early and stuff. So Batman starts to get a theory that it might be Harvey Dent. Riddler accuses... It is Falcone. I don't know why I wrote Maroni. The Riddler accuses Falcone of being it. Bear in mind, Falcone's the one paying him to try and figure out who the holiday killer is, and Riddler's like, it's you.
Not very good.
He's good at coming up with riddles, not so good at solving them, I guess.
Well, he's not even very good. He just does the popular ones, doesn't he?
The issue, we'll get into this if we ever do a Riddler book, but there's not many good Riddler books because the problem with writing the Riddler is that
Riddler sucks.
It's a good story if you're a smart person who can come up with complex things that, like, because the Riddler's whole thing is, like, he's supposed to be able to come up with stuff that, like, nobody but Batman can figure out, right? So if you're a writer, you need to be smart enough to come up with really intricate puzzles, and that's not a negative. Most people are just
you're saying
not that smart.
You're saying Jim Carrey's Riddler wasn't good. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, he didn't. I don't know who wrote that, but I don't remember him having many
not
good...
a smart man.
I don't remember him having many good riddles.
No, I think the big thing about the Batman is that we both came out of it going, wow, Riddler is actually like a genuinely cool villain.
But even
for like
then,
the first time ever.
Even then, I didn't come away from it like, wow, they actually made the Riddler smart for a change. He was just scary. Like, the actual, like, riddles themselves are, like... I mean, to be fair, they're probably the best ones I've seen someone do for the Riddler. Where, like, when they would tell you what it is, like the one with, like, where it's, like, thumb drive, and he puts it in the USB. I was like, that's quite smart. That feels like something the Riddler would do. Whereas usually they are just, like, rubbish. And you're like, oh, the Riddler just isn't that smart, is he? He's just an idiot. But anyway, he accuses Carmine Falcone, and they throw him out of the office onto the street. and the holiday killer shoots at him, but only shoots perfectly around him because it's April Fool's Day, and so he doesn't leave anything on the thing. He just leaves the bullet marks. Chapter 8 is Mother's Day.
Oh, that's harsh, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, the picture we've got is a little Bruce at his mother's grave.
Yeah.
Which this is the big thing, which I think the film is one of the worst films I've ever watched. Superman versus Batman sucks, and people who protect him, I think, need to get a grip a bit. How they just both bond and go, yo, your mum was Martha too? Yeah. Nice. And then that's it. They're all good. Oh.
Yeah.
What's your favourite thing about Mother's Day, though?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about this.
I thought I'd turn around on this one, because I got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing. It's like barely a holiday.
That's harsh, man.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we should not do it.
I like to make my mother happy on that day. You may ask, oh, do you celebrate it? No. No, I haven't done Mother's Day in like years, since I was like a kid, but
Yeah.
I get a text every now.
Yeah.
And I text her back going, oh, happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
She's like, did you get me anything? No.
This text.
I'll see you on the weekend though.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. There's not really a lot to it, you know?
But who's this fella?
Oh, that's Calendar Man, just really up close.
Oh.
His whole vibe is again with Jeph Loeb loving The Godfather. He also really likes Silence of the Lambs. So every shot you see of Calendar Man is like Hannibal Lecter.
I did think that he's basically treated.
Apart from like Hannibal Lecter is a really good intimidating character, and Calendar Man is a bit of a joke.
What do you mean? He's like a...
There's a bit coming up later on in the book where like it is basically them, the writer, showing you like he's a joke.
The big thing is with Calendar Man, if you just stopped giving him newspapers when he's trapped in there, what happens?
I feel like because of his obsession with dates, he would remember what day it is where he got locked up, so he would still know what day it is. So he would still be obsessed.
Yeah, but at least he wouldn't look. He would look less like a psycho.
The problem with Calendar Man is he only has one gimmick. It's like if you're a Spider-Man villain and you're like, the police are like, there's somebody turning people into lizards. Like, there's no investigation needed. Who is it? It's the lizard. Like, come on, man. Calendar Man, you're like, this thing happening on dates. Like, certain dates. You're like, well, I know who it is, man. Unless it's somebody pretending to be Calendar Man, I guess, which would be clever.
Yeah, exactly. You said that.
Or
but he's
Holiday.
in jail. Exactly. So, riddle me piss, Batman.
So, Sophia Falcone finds out where the guns that are being used are getting made. She goes there. Holiday gets there first, shoots the guy who runs the shop. Oh, there's Scarecrow. We'll come back to Scarecrow in a bit, but you get some cool stuff of Scarecrow. I really like the design of Scarecrow. He's on a horse, which we were talking about before, which doesn't make sense, but it just looks cool. And Batman knocks his head off, and it's a fake Scarecrow.
He looks so dumb.
Yeah.
That's great. But anyway, yeah, Falcone, sorry.
Sophia Falcone goes to where the guns are being made, those specific guns that the killer uses. Holiday gets there first, shoots the guy who runs the store, and leaves a basket of flowers with a Mother's Day card in. Suspecting that Bruce Wayne is involved in this because of Harvey Dent's discovery, Jim Gordon finds Bruce Wayne mourning his parents at Crime Alley, and Bruce Wayne has these like weird flashbacks of the nights that his parents died, so he just like runs, and he ends up at the cemetery, which is why you get that opening cover and stuff, and it ends with him as Batman as the cemetery. There you go. Chapter 9, Father's Day, another fun one for Batman.
What's my favourite thing about Father's Day?
What's my favourite thing about Father's Day? My favourite thing about Father's Day is like, maybe they do this for Mother's Day and I just don't pick up on it, but usually if I am going out for Father's Day, it's always like,
it's always a steak they do, isn't it? It's the steak meals.
It's always like if you go to a pub or you go to a restaurant, they actually do stuff for it where I'm like, that's pretty cool. Where it'd be like Father's Day, get a burger and a beer for like this much, and I'm like, I ain't no father, but don't mind if I do.
2-for-1 burger beers, and you're like, let's go, baby. Whereas Mother's Day, they go, have a free bottle of Prosecco. I'm not a big Prosecco fan.
Yeah. So you get the flashback of Bruce's father helping Carmine Falcone when he's a child. Gordon and Dent arrest Bruce Wayne after he ran away from Jim Gordon, and they take him to court over potentially being the holiday killer, potentially having ties with the mob. Whilst that happens, Maroni's asking his father, who obviously used to run the crime family, for advice, and he gets shot by the holiday, who leaves a suit tie at the scene. Harvey then goes to visit his father on Father's Day. His father's like an insane person. You never meet him, but and his dad gives him this coin, and he's talking to his wife about how he's furious that the jury let Bruce Wayne go. Basically, Alfred is the person who stands in for Bruce Wayne, and they're like asking him about what happened. Did he take a bribe from the crime families and stuff? And he's like, the police were pretty corrupt themselves at the time, and they're like, well, we don't have a case. Like, so Harvey Dent's complaining about how easy they let Bruce Wayne off, and he says the analogy of it's like they flipped a coin, like it was 50-50 whether they were going to believe Bruce Wayne or not.
So does this then basically start the Harvey Dent Two-Face?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like significant because this is him and this is like the whole first thing of Two-Face, and this is the moment where they bring in the coin.
Because was it a Dark Knight where he has the coin and he's...
Yeah, it's a classic thing. He has it in the Jim Carrey one as well. Sort of.
Sorry, I don't remember the Jim Carrey one.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean,
it's not as you do.
Well, not the Jim Carrey one, sorry. Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Scarecrow, who broke out earlier, him and Jervis Tetch, the Mad Hatter, are now working with Carmine Falcone, and Salvatore Maroni goes to Harvey Dent and offers to make a deal with him to help bring down Carmine Falcone and the crime family. So whilst Carmine Falcone is reaching out to supervillains to help him, Maroni is like, I'll coordinate with you and rat out like half the mob in order to get protection and also call an end to this. Chapter 10, Independence Day. What's your favourite thing about Independence Day, Aaron?
I've got a least favourite thing about Independence Day.
What's that?
How do we lose? Bloody French, you know? French just had to get involved. US could still be ours.
I didn't see that coming. I thought you were going to make a joke about the movie.
No, I've got nothing. I like Aliens as well, yeah. I mean, I completely forgot. Also, Will Smith.
Yeah.
What's your favourite thing about Independence Day?
I don't know if I have a favourite thing, but it would be interesting if the Irish adopted it in the way that the Americans have adopted St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, but
that would be funny.
But the difference between the Irish is when they went independent, they went into like famines and stuff, and then we were like...
Well, yeah, but they wouldn't celebrate Irish independence.
Snooze, you lose. You know?
They would celebrate American independence, I guess.
Oh, you mean like that?
I don't mean like if they had their own. I mean if they literally just stole the holiday in the way that the US did.
Their own Independence Day to celebrate by not eating again. Sorry to bring the potato family.
Everybody out here starving.
Too soon. It's like 100 years ago. So,
this part is really short. The coroner for Gotham City gets killed by the holiday killer. Harvey Dent tells Batman on top of the rooftop where they always meet about him being wrong about Bruce Wayne, and that he kind of jumped to conclusions and stuff. Sophia Falcone meets Maroni in jail and reveals that she was in jail because she took a fall for Maroni, and that they've been having like a secret affair this whole time.
Oh, like Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
But she's like a really butch Juliet.
Yeah, you know, there you go.
Fair enough.
Chapter 11. I don't think there's anything else that's important in this chapter. Just check. Oh, there's some silly Scarecrow and Mad Hatter antics. They're in like a carriage and stuff, you know.
So why? I don't get this Scarecrow thing, man. This is dumb. And they just get beaten up by Batman.
Yeah.
What do they offer to this?
They're transporting money for Carmine Falcone, I think.
Even Catwoman goes in on the beating.
Although, to be honest, if I was going to pay someone, a supervillain, to transport money for me, it wouldn't be the Scarecrow, because as you see, he does it on a horse and carriage.
It's not the best way to do it.
It's really not. You know, you could just pay a regular guy to take a car.
Exactly.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't want to mess with Scarecrow, but
yeah,
could you not be like, can you just drive?
I imagine a normal dude's gonna like be less than Scarecrow. I don't know the rates of supervillains, I guess.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, you would imagine so. Chapter 11 is called Roman Holiday. I looked this up because I've never really thought about it, and I was like, is this a holiday? It's not. It's like a saying. I can't remember what it... I think it just means like bad times.
Roman holiday.
Yeah, I had to look. I looked this up yesterday because when I was flicking through the chapters, I was like, I don't know what that means. So I looked it up, and it's like a saying, which I was surprised at because they were for so long they were all to do with holidays, and then this is where it kind of switches up a little bit.
An occasion on which enjoyment or profit is derived from others' suffering or discomfort.
Yeah.
So say, I don't know. It's like landing... This is a Monopoly reference. I'm just going to go to this, right? I've got Mayfair, I got Hotel, right? You roll. Oh, bugger! You're on Mayfair. Roman holiday, innit?
Yeah.
Because I'm getting money, but you're paying me the money.
Maybe we should start using this in like regular conversation. Everyone will be so confused.
Oh, points on you, innit? Roman holiday.
Guess it's another Roman holiday. That feels like a sitcom outro. Anyway, Roman Holiday, Chapter 11. Gilda starts to question Harvey Dent after she finds one of the guns that the Holiday Killer uses on his workbench, but he's like, it's just evidence that I brought home from work. Harvey Dent's assistant that was being paid off by Maroni ages ago, whilst Salvatore Maroni is in court to testify because he said he would. Dent's assistant slips him something before he goes into the court, which leads to when Harvey Dent starts to press Salvatore Maroni, he throws acid into Harvey Dent's face, which they actually... I only realised this when rereading it. They teased this in The Dark Knight. You probably won't remember. If I showed you a picture maybe of the guy who plays Maroni, maybe you would remember, but there's a scene where he's in court for... It's to do with the Asian guy. I can't remember what his name is. The Asian guy who like is helping them get rid of their money and stuff like that. It's to do with that, and he's in court with him. And obviously, if you've read this, you're probably like, he's going to throw acid in his face and turn him into Two-Face. I think he pulls a gun on him or something like that, and Harvey like pulls a gun on him or disarms him or something like that. There's like a little tease of it in the movie. But yeah, he throws acid into Harvey Dent's face. A doctor comes out to Jim Gordon and Harvey's wife and says that he's gone, and Gilda starts screaming, and he's like, no, he's gone, like he's escaped, and like Harvey Dent is just gone from the hospital. And then the Holiday Killer shoots and kills Carmine Falcone's sister, who is the one who was out on the boat looking for Antonio all that time ago. She's not really that important in the grand scheme of things, but still. Chapter 12 is Labor Day, which is something...
What's your favourite thing of Labor Day?
Labor Day is a US holiday, I believe. Right?
The holiday is rooted in the late 19th century.
Yeah.
Recognise the many contributions workers have made to America's strength, prosperity and well-being.
So it's like Worker Day.
Yeah. Like, wow, guys, well done. You working hard, or hardly working.
Nice. I guess you get a day off. It'd be pretty harsh if you didn't get a day off on Labor Day.
Why?
Because the whole point is like, thank you for working so hard.
So work some more. Which is your job.
Well.
I guess the difference between English and British and Americans, right, is bank holidays, right? Do Americans I don't think they have bank holidays, do they?
No, I don't think so.
So they have to make these days up.
Yeah.
So they
True.
have to have like Thanksgiving, even though it's just like killing a bunch of natives.
Well, yeah, we probably have like the same amount
of
of holidays.
So
Yeah, but they were like, hey, let's get together and eat, you know? Can't be mad at that.
so Labor Day.
For Labor Day. So Harvey Dent, having escaped from the hospital, bumps into Solomon Grundy. And Grundy's going to beat him up, but he reads the rest of the Solomon Grundy rhyme to him, and he just like kind of stares at him and doesn't beat him up. Jim Gordon and Batman come to the conclusion that Harvey is the holiday killer after they find a bunch more evidence and kind of put it all together, you know, like where they're like, oh, well, he came home wet that one time and we found the gun and blah, blah, blah. They all like, they kind of do the thing that happens in every murder mystery movie ever where they like connect all the dots and then it
How
all
did we
points
not
to
see
Harvey
this?
and, like,
Yeah.
all of these clues make sense. Maroney gets escorted out of his jail cell where they've been keeping him. Obviously, through acid in the face of Harvey Dent, so they're like, we got to get you out of here. And they also believe that Maroney is going to get killed next by Holiday. On the way out of his cell, the guard that he's with gets shot. He's with a guard and Jim Gordon. The guard gets shot as they're leaving the cell. Gordon looks up with his light, and the killer is stood there, and it's Antonio Falcone.
Isn't he the one that died on the ship?
He was the one who got shot. No, that is.
Oh,
Did I call him Albert earlier?
you called him Alberto.
Alberto. Oh, it is Alberto.
I was about
I
to say
believe.
it's Alberto.
It's Alberto.
Falcone,
I kept
isn't
getting it confused. Sometimes I've corrected myself, sometimes I haven't. It's Alberto. Sorry, there's not another Falcone. He's
I was
got a
getting
twin
really
brother
confused.
called Alberto.
Oh, wow, Alberto and Antonio? Double A's.
So it's, right, Alberto. That's going to be really difficult for me to remember, but I'll try my best. Yeah, Alberto Falcone, who got shot on the boat and then fell over the side. Chapter 13, Punishment. Ain't no holiday.
What's your favourite thing about punishment?
That's a real messed up, open-ended question. This is the last chapter, so we ain't got no more what's your favourite thing about moments. So the guard that Falcone shot, Alberto Falcone shot, gets up and it's Batman. He was pretending to be the guard so that he would get shot. He punches Alberto. Batman pieces together that Alberto actually faked his own death and that he only got grazed by the bullet and he just jumped over the top so that people would think he was dead.
Question: How? How does he know that?
How does he know that that's what Alberto did?
Yeah.
Because he's alive.
Yep.
I think Alberto might tell him, but also he's alive, so he clearly didn't get shot and killed. He just...
I mean, yeah, he's alive. Like, now you can see him, but no one's seen Alberto in a hot minute. You know?
He must be... You know what? That's
is
actually a really good point, because his body washes up on the shore, and his dad goes to see the body, and is like, yeah, that's my son. So he must have just been, like, really badly hurt. But, you know, I feel like if you were like, hey, this person you know really well is dead. He's just washed up on shore. Can you come see him? If they weren't dead, I feel like I would be able to tell. I'm not a doctor, but
That's true.
I feel like I'd be able to be like, that guy ain't dead. But regardless, he faked his own death. The only reason he stopped, because there's a point in one of the chapters where they're like, they're not killing mobsters anymore, so this changes the whole thing because the coroner dies. Obviously, Alberto killed the coroner because the coroner would have known that it wasn't his body that got put into the grave, right? Like, he would have been like, what's going on here? So he killed the coroner, and then he killed his own aunt a couple of chapters ago because she was going through the coroner's folders, so that's why he killed her. Which I think they're the only two people who die that aren't connected to the mob. Alberto gets visited by his dad in jail, and he tells his dad about how bitter he is about his dad not being there for him, not letting him be a part of the business. And he tells him, you thought that Gotham City was synonymous with organised crime, but Gotham City has changed. It doesn't want your kind anymore. Now look at me. I'm bigger than all of you put together. I am Holiday. So it's kind of like it's just bitterness basically towards his dad for not letting him be a part of the family business. Harvey Dent, meanwhile, is still out on the loose. He frees a bunch of people from Arkham, but he decides to leave the Calendar Man there on his own in Arkham.
That's harsh.
The only guy that he doesn't free. So Carmine Falcone is fuming about his son because he offers to get him out of jail. He's like, "You don't need to die for this," and his son's like, "Nah, I'm fine. I'm gonna die for this just to rub it in for you even more." And then when his guards start getting killed, Carmine Falcone goes downstairs and sees all of the villains throughout the book are all gathered there. Then shows up, now revealed as the iconic Two-Face look with the split down the face and then like the two different sides of the suit, which is just like now seeing Harvey Dent as anything else is like weird. Like that is just the Two-Face look. Batman arrives, smokes out the room, starts taking them all down. Two-Face grabs Carmine Falcone and talks about how the system doesn't work and that Falcone will just get out again if they just arrest him. Again, kind of like the Dark Knight thing of like Two-Face being turned into Two-Face is kind of his moment where he's like, I was too optimistic. This doesn't work. We gotta start killing people and stuff like that. Well, he was already like that anyway, but now because in this book he's optimistic about it working, but when the killings start happening, he'll say to Jim Gordon, he's like, couldn't have happened to a nicer guy and stuff like that. And Jim Gordon's like, come on, man, they don't have to die. And he's like, well,
or it's kind of similar to is it the Dark Knight again, where Batman he's fighting the Joker on the building site, right? And he has him at the end, and the Joker's laughing because he's like, "You're not going to kill me, because you won't kill me, because you need me to be you, and you." It's like vice versa. So it's like that whole thing of you could kill the Joker right there and end so much killings that are coming out.
And that's what Harvey wants to do, right? He just wants to shoot him, So Harvey flips the coin. It lands on the bad side of the coin, which is like all scratched up, and he shoots Carmine Falcone twice and kills him. Sophia Falcone, being the absolute unit that she is, charges at Two-Face in rage, and Catwoman like tackles her and she falls through a window and falls out of the building and dies. That's the end of Sophia Falcone. Then he gets away. I'm not sure how, he just kind of like leaves. And he goes and kills his assistant that looks like Gus from Recess because he knows that he was the one who slipped Maroni the acid. Then Dent goes to the rooftop of the building where Batman and Jim Gordon are already waiting for them. It's the rooftop where they always stand and chat, and Dent talks about how the long Halloween is finally over, and Harvey's like, I don't care what you guys like deem as correct or not. I did it. Like, I'm the person who did it and stopped this whole thing. And asks to be arrested. And as he's being arrested, he says, "You guys know, right, that there were 2 holiday killers?" And like Jim Gordon's just confused, and he asks Batman, and Batman's like, he's obsessed with the number 2. Like, I don't know if he's telling the truth or not. This is his whole gimmick. He loves 2. So he's like, I don't know. In Arkham, Calendar Man and Alberto are put like across from each other, so they just like chat nonsense the whole time. Back in the Dent's old house, Gilda Kent has got everything in boxes. Gilda Dent has got everything in boxes and is kind of just talking to herself as she's packing everything up. And she says, "Harvey, I did what needed to be done. Do you remember you promised we would finally have time together when you didn't have so much work to do?" She begins burning Harvey's old holiday outfit, the hat and the coat, talking about how she had read his case files about serial killers and how they done it, how they would file off serial numbers, how they would do this and that to get away with everything. And she says that she started the original holiday killings, and then the night when Harvey came home late with wet hair on New Year's, she realised that he had the same idea as her to start killing the mobsters, and so she kind of let him carry on the rest of them, and the book ends with her saying, "Let them think it was Alberto. No one will ever find out because they don't have you to help." And so that is the final reveal of who the holiday killer is.
So what's Alberto doing?
He just wanted to be like respected. He just like, you know how like sometimes that happens in murder mystery stuff where it's like one person takes the fall and they say like it literally happens in The Dark Knight, I'm sure. Doesn't there's that dude who works at Wayne Enterprises who comes out and says he's the Batman. And then Joker goes after him and tries to kill him. And he just does it because he wants the fame. He's like, I'm just going to pretend to be... Like, Alberto wants to do it because he hates his dad. And he wants to... He says it because he's like, I could never do it, but I'll take the fall for this. And then I gain notoriety for being the holiday killer. And then get revenge on my dad, even though I haven't done anything.
So it was the Dents.
It was the Dents, but they never knew... Harvey never knew it was her.
But she knows it was him.
Yeah, which you're like, they could have just had a conversation, you know? They both were trying to do the same thing.
What if she must have known? She could have just gone, hey, look, Harv. That's what I imagine she calls him, by the way.
Yeah.
They're close. Harv. You're one of the holiday killers, aren't you? And he's like, whoa. Oh.
Yeah, because she like accuses him of it. She's like, it's a bit weird, and he's like, what do you mean? I'm bringing home evidence and stuff like that.
You could have simply just been like, oh, don't worry, me too. And then he goes, what? And then you explain the whole thing. And then you got like a Bonnie and Clyde situation.
Maybe.
But then again, I guess he was being more and more unstable. So her think was probably... I mean, the book does finish on the line, I believe in Harvey Dent.
Yeah, which is like a reoccurring
Yeah.
thing of I believe in Gotham City, I believe it. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, her motive of doing it because she knew that Harvey would never stop until all of the mob was like locked up, and so she's killing them because she just wants to go away and start a family and all of that stuff. That makes sense. But yeah, I suppose if she knows that it's him who's picked it up and is, because she knows that she stopped doing it, she like suspects it's him. Yeah, you'd think she would just like mention it and be like, look, we're both pretty messed up, but why don't we just both stop and move?
Look a little bit sus.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, if there's a bunch of killings happening every month and then the district attorney is like, I feel a change of scenery, boys. Yeah, you would be like,
I'm feeling all right.
yeah, that would be pretty skeptical.
I can definitely see the amount of inspiration, especially the Nolan films got.
Yeah.
And the Batman. Yeah. I going back to what you said right at the beginning. It's taking a lot of inspiration from the actual films compared to
for sure
the others. Because I mean, The Killing Joke, even though when we did it, it is amazing. It's very hard to put that into like cinema format as they found. So like, when you can just take bits of The Long Halloween, it's completely different.
Because The Long Halloween is like, it reads very much like a book. Like, not just a comic book.
Sorry.
Like, The Killing Joke, right, it could only work I suppose it could work as a short story, but, like, it just works really well as a comic book. It flows really well. Mm-hmm. The Long Halloween, with all of its chapters and the way that, like a murder mystery, you kind of, like, you get a little... And it's like the classic murder mystery thing where it leads you down one way and you're like, okay, it's this person. And then right at the end of the chapter or something, there'll be something that throws you off that person. It follows that classic murder mystery style, so you can put it into a movie, I guess, pretty easy. But also, it's like, obviously, they've never made The Long Halloween, but you can just take certain aspects. Like, you can take the Two-Face part and lift that out. You can take the Batman and Catwoman relationship and how that mixes with Falcone for the Robert Pattinson Batman, and just take that bit out.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's easy to like leave the central story and take other parts out, whereas The Killing Joke, there is one story pretty much. Well, I suppose you get Joker's origin and then Joker
his origin,
harassing Jim Gordon, but the two go hand in hand, right?
It explains why he's doing what he's doing at the same time.
Yeah, so you can just like take little parts out, and also it's just like I said, it's so like murder mystery by the numbers, that it's like quite a cinematic book anyway.
Well, what I can't wait for is when they take the Mad Hatter and Scarecrow bits and make that into a film.
Yeah, but that in a movie.
All I'm saying, those two, fucking useless. Why are they in this? They could have just got rid of those parts and it would probably be the exact same book.
Yeah.
Is that just a Jeph Loeb thing where he's like, you know what, I like Scarecrow, but let's make him a little bit goofy?
There's definitely a thing of Jeph Loeb where it's like he likes to put a bunch of villains in. Like Hush does the same thing. Although I feel like all of the villains in Hush have a little bit more influence on the story. Even if it's just the grand scheme of things, they don't really change anything. It's at least like a decent chapter worth where it's like they relate. Whereas Scarecrow and Mad Hatter are in about 5 or 6 pages in total.
It feels like the premise of this was obviously to show mobs going down, villains go up. So I think what the big thing he had that in line, and then he had that panel of all the people in the office, all the villains in the office, and he goes, that'd be sick. And then just worked backwards from there.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's definitely not bad. It's not bad at all, but it just feels like he had an idea, and then he was like, I've got this panel. He must have shown everyone this is the panel. I want this one.
Yeah.
How do we work these two idiots into this story? And
I guess it's also like by having the villains pop up more, it's showing how like they're more involved in Gotham. It's like you don't need Solomon Grundy to be in the book. You could replace him with a homeless person who lives in that like little bit of the sewer or whatever. But by having it be Solomon Grundy, it's like showing you how the villains are inhabiting Gotham, so that in future books where it's like, oh, we need to go down to the sewer, you expect Solomon Grundy to be there because you know that's where he is, right? Whereas before you'd be like, I don't know where he is. Like,
yeah, exactly. They're being more lent upon.
It's like Poison Ivy is like pointless in this book. Like
I think
it helps with, maybe it adds a little bit to Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle's relationship. It shows you that Selena Kyle isn't totally just like playing Bruce Wayne. She does kind of care a little bit. She also just doesn't like Poison Ivy, but so I guess that adds a little bit to it. But realistically, it's like he gets enchanted by Poison Ivy for no apparent reason, and then gets freed of it.
Well, he is a dude. That's the problem. You know,
and a rich dude.
Men have the problem when it comes to attractive Poison Ivy women. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that a lot. And there you go. I don't know what else to say about it.
I'm not going to tell you what we're doing for the next episode because it's going to be a surprise for when we do it.
It's not going to be Zombies 2 Electric Boogaloo.
It's not.
You promised me that. So.
But it will be, I think I'm going to call it episode, so this is episode 10. I think it's going to be called episode 10.5.
10.5?
Because it's not like a standard episode. It's going to be a little bit different. We're going to mix it up. No, it's not. We're going to mix it up a little bit.
What the...
It's like not an episode, but it is.
No, you.
Spooky. It's not spooky.
Not spooky. I'm just confused.
Yeah, there's nothing spooky.
So this one goes out next week, right?
No, it should be this week. From when we're recording this, it will come out in a few days.
Oh.
I just need to get everything made for it, and then it will come out in a few days.
Oh, I see why you're busy this week then. That's no worries.
Yeah, there you go.
So